Now we're talking about using generative AI in doing our security work, but now we have to apply some of those tools in a recursive manner to make sure we're doing the right things, right? Could you straighten out the challenges here for me in AI and what we should be paying attention to most when we're using AI for IT purposes?
Yeah, I mean, so when we talk about using AI for, again, security measures to protect AI, again, it's always going to be obviously a challenge to do that. We talk about AI systems, we talk about controls, we talk about governance, we talk about those kind of things. It is definitely again a learning exercise for many organizations. So in most cases, they are providing a form of supplementary control, for instance. So if I look at incident response, for instance, these tools may be used to expedite some of the processes. I mentioned before improvements around time to detection, time to mitigation. It could be helping write some of the reports, but of course you're going to have to ensure that when you're using this type of information and these types of tools, that you're using very much privately owned models, privately owned AI systems, etc., that are doing this for you. But it could also be for compliance, right? It's quite common now for organizations. I think if I speak to any CISO today, they highlight one of the biggest challenges they have is around having to map their controls across multiple regulations, frameworks, standards, etc. So, of course, AI could help with that. That would be a great use case, for instance, for an organization to automatically map many of their controls, building a single control framework that can be applied for their organization. But even going back to the point around threat modeling, right? It is all about perhaps in many cases automating much of that task and then using perhaps a human resource for perhaps the more specific, the more detailed capabilities that requires, which actually again is the most efficient way typically of using people today, right? It's about focusing on perhaps the more difficult, challenging task and getting the accuracy right. But using a generative AI service, that's something that can be very kind of bespoke and focused on the kind of the general kind of the easier, perhaps more comprehensive tasks, for instance.